The woman opened the door to a horrifying sight. A blood-soaked girl lay drowned in the bathtub. Her mother hung lifeless in the adjacent closet. The gruesome scene made the woman stagger backward. She collapsed onto the floor in shock. Regaining composure, she called the police. Stumbling outside, she vomited into the gutter. The woman was Sarah, a renowned TV news anchor. Hours earlier, Sarah was prepping for broadcast when receiving a call from a woman, Lucy. Lucy claimed a stalker had broken into her home. Begging for help, she pleaded with Sarah to come. Sarah offered to call police, but Young insisted she come personally, making Sarah suspect a hoax. Similar fan pranks had happened before. Focused on her 9 p.m. broadcast deadline, Sarah hung up and rushed to the studio. During the live broadcast, Young's desperate voice kept echoing in Sarah's mind. A growing unease plagued her concentration, yet her professionalism carried the show through. Distracted at home, Sarah confided in her mother Kyungga's probing about the call. Kyungga saw an opportunity. This could make you a true journalist. In broadcasting, an unspoken rule prevails. Great anchors must first prove themselves reporters. Field experience was Sarah's fatal weakness. She'd never done on-scene reporting. Newcomer Sunmi was rising fast at the station, a charismatic reporter with field credentials that threatened Sarah's primetime anchor spot. Kate warned, "She'll replace you as the 9 p.m. anchor unless you act now." The looming threat consumed Sarah, Kate and her mother's obsession to prevent it. Kate had sacrificed everything to mold Sarah's career, ruthlessly eliminating any obstacle in her path, even sabotaging Sarah's marriage. When Sarah's husband suggested she quit, Kate poisoned their relationship. She forbade grandchildren, deeming motherhood career suicide. Sarah grew up under this suffocating control, her mother more jailer than guardian. Yet again, Sarah obeyed Kyungga's orders, leading to Lucy's horrific death scene. Police and media swarmed the crime scene. As first witness, Sarah seized the chance to report live, proving her field chops. The sensational case became Sarah's breakthrough investigation. She pursued every lead relentlessly. Police followed Sarah's account, launching their investigation, but the trauma haunted Sarah's psyche. Lucy's ghostly visage plagued her visions. The specter disrupted her work focus, leaving her distracted. Guilt gnawed at Sarah. Had I responded immediately, could I have saved her? As the investigation progressed, police made a shocking discovery. No signs of forced entry at Lucy's home. The autopsy ruled it suicide. Deeper probes revealed Lucy's history of mental illness, a pregnancy out of wedlock, family estrangement, and subsequent breakdown. Consumed by despair, she'd attempted suicide multiple times. The police concluded Lucy had a mental breakdown, first strangling her daughter, then taking her own life. Shiluo didn't need to pursue the story further. There was no sensational angle left. Kate advised Sarah, "Blindly reporting facts won't generate buzz. No buzz means no relevance. No relevance threatens your position, Shiluo." Heeding her mother's warning, Sarah shifted her reporting angle. She framed the case as a mother killing her child for attention. Abandoning the sympathy angle, her cold take sparked immediate backlash. Colleagues called her heartless, but the chief approved. Journalists need detachment. Sierra's approach gets ratings. Next day, Sarah returned alone to the crime scene. The place still filled her with unease. Back here, her heart is still very uneasy. I didn't expect a man to suddenly appear, who kept rummaging through things at Lucy's house. Sarah was so scared that he hurried to hide and send text messages to colleagues to ask them to call the police. It didn't take long to hear nothing moving outside the house. Sarah walked out slowly, only to collide with the man who left. Just at the moment the police arrived, the man's identity also surfaced. This man's name is David, and he's Lucy's attending psychologist. He claims he's here looking for clues about Lucy's disease. This remark made Shiloh curious about Lucy's illness. She came forward to ask, but the other party refused to disclose it on the grounds of protecting the patient's privacy. However, the police did not find any suspicious points after a simple investigation, then let David leave. Afterwards, Sarah became curious about David. An investigation was launched, and a major discovery was made. David was involved in a suicide case. Jump out of his office without warning during hypnotherapy. The incident caused a sensation at the time. Later, the police ruled out the possibility of homicide through investigation. David got acquitted. Now, I feel that things are not that simple. David has a ghost. So Sarah took the initiative to find David for investigation and inquiry. But I don't know why I walked into the office. The various hypnotic furnishings in the room made Sarah unwell. The spirit once appeared trance, even hallucinations. These subtle moves of Sarah were accurately captured by David. He faced the challenge of his innocence. The reason why I went to Lucy's house that day, because the night before the murder, Lucy suddenly found Lao Kuei. A change of normality, wants to abort the treatment that is about to be completed. This makes David feel that something is wrong. There seems to be another personality in Lucy's body. It was not until the case occurred that David was sure of his own ideas. That's why I went to Lucy's house to look for evidence. After Sarah left Lao Kui's office, her hallucinations are getting worse. So much so that it affects the work. Suspended by the director, she was replaced by Sunny. The worried world Luo just returned home. Kate appeared drunk. See mother drinking again. She was so angry. So I had a big fight with my mother and the two broke up. Sarah sits in a chair and meditates. Suddenly, the picture of David's office came to mind. In order to get rid of Lucy's influence on himself, Sarah came to David's office again. Ask the other person to hypnotize himself. After hearing this, David said that he could help her return to the scene of the crime. As long as you see Lucy's face when he dies, he will get rid of each other. Then Lucy sat on the recliner. With David's words, she fell into a dream. I opened my eyes and found myself in a field. There's a warehouse in front of you. According to David's instructions, Sarah pushed open the door and went in. After a long tunnel before returning to the scene of the crime, Sarah slowly marches towards Lucy's cabinet and mustered the courage to open. Who knows it's empty inside the next second? A woman with her hair in her hair appeared to float towards Shiluo. She was so frightened that she rushed out of the room and back into the field, saw a group of bats and a deer. I haven't waited for Sarah to relax. A ghost hand appeared from behind and strangled her by the neck. And in the real world of David. Seeing this, she hurried back to the world and pulled her back. As soon as Sarah returned to the TV station, he was told by the director, starting today, her position will be officially replaced by Sunny. Sarah felt unfair to himself, but the director did not think so. Indicates that this is the result of high-level discussions. She went back to the dressing room. Difficult to suppress the anger in the heart broke the makeup mirror, but from the mirror accidentally saw another oneself. This scared Sarah so much that he hurried back home. That night, David called, intent to ask about treatment. The result is Kate answer. Tell the other party clearly not to call in the future. My own daughter is not sick. When David hung up the phone, he seemed to realize something. The next morning, Sarah woke up from his sleep, saw separated husband Joni appear at home. The other party asked why he hadn't seen Kate's annoying essence these days. Shiluo quarrels again for this. She was fed up with the divorce. Joni agreed for a moment. Then he picked up a cigarette and came to the balcony, but accidentally saw the balcony was destroyed in a mess, and the magazine with the cover of Sarah. People scratched the devastation. Joni hurriedly called the next generation Sarah. The latter saw that something was wrong. Hurried to my mother's house. Found home in addition to a wine bottle. No trace of mother. Shiluo anxiously called to find, but no one answered. She checked the phone records and found that David called last night. The first time I called back Lao Kuei and asked her to come to the hospital. I need to make sure that she's under hypnosis. Who is the ghost that I saw? Sarah didn't promise, because she's busy looking for her mother. Forced. But David had to come to Shiluo's house. Reluctantly, David visited Sarah's home. Ayu was home. After revealing his identity, he was invited in. Johnny truthfully explained Sarah's situation to Johnny's questions. Ayu then led David to the balcony and said, "My mother-in-law is the one needing treatment now." They rushed to Kate's house to find Shiluo. David found news articles about Kate on the floor. A sense of foreboding overwhelmed him. Kate arrived at her daughter's TV station workplace. She demanded the 9 p.m. anchor position for her daughter. Sunny firmly refused the request. To everyone's shock, Sunny pulled a dagger from her bag and stabbed it deep into Sunny's abdomen. A phone suddenly rang. Johnny's voice demanded Sunny's location through the phone. As Kate stepped forward, her appearance transformed, morphing into Sarah. What's happening? The mystery will unravel as the story progresses. Learning Sarah was with Jaunt, Shiluo claimed Lao Kuei was her stalker. Ayu immediately attacked Lao Kuei after hanging up. Confused, Lao Kuei tried to escape. He noticed bat-patterned wallpaper. Breaking free, he rushed outside with sudden realization. A small shed stood in the courtyard. David charged inside without hesitation. A long, secret passage came into view. It led to a mysterious door. A deer head trophy hung nearby. These were elements from Sarah's nightmares. Trembling, David's pushed the door open, revealing Kate's corpse hanging mid-air. The decomposition suggested she'd been dead for over 2 weeks. Police arrived after David's call. He informed them, Sarah has dissociative identity disorder like Lucy. At the TV station, Shanmei was missing before broadcast. Shiluo took over as anchor last minute. She performed with veteran composure. A screeching noise blasted through her earpiece, snapping Shiluo back to reality. Crucially, this was Shiluo's true personality, emerging. Her previous actions were Jingya's alternate personality. Post-broadcast, Shanmei stumbled in, clutching her bleeding abdomen. She collapsed before speaking. As others rushed to help, Shiluo looked up. Spotting her mother at the door, she gave chase. In the dressing room, she witnessed the stabbing scene. Panicking, she called Lao Kui. He rushed to the scene, finding Shiluo talking to herself. Lao Kui snapped her back to reality. Jingya's dead, he revealed. For many days now, the late-night caller wasn't Jingya, but Shiluo manifesting her mother's personality. Guided by Lao Kui, Shiluo regained her memories. She'd searched Jingya's house for hidden alcohol, triggering a violent confrontation. Harsh words escalated. Shiluo revealed a dark family secret. Jingya had been a brilliant news anchor in her youth. Shiluo's birth forced Jingya to take career hiatus. When she returned, her position was gone. Career failure drove her to madness. She blamed Shiluo for everything. One night, Jingya tried to strangle her daughter, eliminate the source of my ruin, planning to end herself after. Timely intervention saved Shiluo. This trauma haunted Shiluo permanently. Her mental instability led to recurring nightmares. Strangled by invisible hands, Junga apologized when Sarah exposed her wounds. But Sarah coldly retorted, I'm done with you. Disappear from my life forever. Sarah stormed out of the house. Junga wandered aimlessly to the storage. Regret eventually consumed Sarah. But when she returned, her mother had already died. This marked the beginning of Sarah's complete mental collapse. Her mother's persona emerged, revealing that Sarah's tormentor wasn't Xiao Yin, but Junga. In the climax, with old Choi's help, Sarah broke free from her mother's grip, but consequences for her actions await. Thus concludes the twisted tale. Title: The Streamer, a newly released psychological thriller. Masterfully blends reality and nightmares. In its gripping first half, the atmosphere is impeccably crafted, enhanced by clear character dynamics and tight narrative pacing. Strategic visual clues. Ultimately, this stands as an exceptional genre piece. Fans should experience this haunting journey.